In today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Vax SpotWash Max Pet-Design and seeing how it gets on in the context of interior car detailing. So Vax have sponsored this video, and most regular viewers of the channel will know that I've never actually done a sponsored video before. However, having purchased the base model of the Vax SpotWash a couple of years back, and it being an absolute staple of my interior detailing kit ever since, I was really interested to see how the upgraded model fares by comparison. So I'll start off by talking about what this machine actually comes with, and it comes with quite a lot of different accessories. So first off, it has the regular extraction head, and that also comes with a little brush, so you've got some scrubbing power there as well. And then all the other attachments here are actually new to me. So first off, we have the wide path attachment, which is 17.5 centimeters wide, so I found this really useful for doing mats since it just makes the process a little bit quicker. This also comes with that brush attachment that you can clip on, and then also a hard floor attachment which has a rubberized finish instead. It also comes with this spin scrub tool, which is a little bit of an interesting one in that it has a rotating head to help provide some more agitation when you're extracting. And it also comes with a little crevice tool, which I found really helpful for getting into seams and other tight areas. You also get a 500ml antibac cleaning solution, as well as a 250ml pet stain and odour removal spray. They also did send over their stain removal kit. And this comes with 3 750ml spray bottles, which include just the regular one. There's also an antibacterial one, and then there's also an oxylift one, which is used for those darker, more stubborn stains. The setup out of the box is really easy and takes about 30 seconds. So there's some graduations on the side which show you how much solution and water to put in. So there's the option of just filling it for a small amount or filling up the entire tank. One thing I did notice that I really liked here is that you can fill this up from the top, which is a definite upgrade to the Vax SpotWash base model that I purchased, where you have to fill it from the side and it is a little bit awkward to use. The only thing to keep an eye on though is that opening is pretty small, so just be careful not to splash your chemical everywhere. Once the tank has been filled up, it's just a case of unwinding the hose that wraps around the machine, plugging it in and clipping the attachments together. So I wanted to show some specific examples of how I actually got on with this. So the first car I'm going to demonstrate it on is this Volkswagen Golf. Now, if you are a regular viewer of the channel, you will recognise this vehicle, as I did a video on it quite recently. Now, there's about 3 months spaced between the filming of this and the filming of that video, and a lot of the comments in that video did ask why I don't do this vehicle more often, and it's because it ends up in this state pretty quickly. So on the areas of the seats where there was visible mud, I went in with the antibac spray from that stain removal kit and just pre-treated it, allowing it to soak for a couple of minutes before proceeding. I then was keen to try the spin scrub tool, so I started by spraying the solution in the tank just to provide full coverage, and then use that scrub tool to agitate it. So there is a little bit of a knack to using this, so if you do press too hard, the tool is going to stop spinning, so you can't put too much pressure down, and you've also got to be careful of the angle of it so you don't start extracting that solution too quickly. Now, normally I use a cordless drill and brush attachments to do the agitation, and I don't feel like this tool would entirely replace the need for that, as obviously you can put more pressure down with a cordless drill and get it to spin faster. However, if you don't have a cordless drill and the attachments, or are just trying to do things really quickly and you don't want to have to keep putting things down and picking them back up again, then obviously having an integrated tool will definitely be useful. Once I felt like I'd agitated the seat properly, I tilted that attachment forward so that it could begin to extract the liquid, and as you can see, it was pulling up some pretty grotty stuff. So I did repeat the process of extracting on this seat twice, as the solution that was pulling out the seats was pretty dirty. I also used that crevice attachment to get into all the seams and the tighter areas, for example around the isofix points. This was really handy, as otherwise I just wouldn't be able to extract these areas, and given the amount of mud build-up around it, it would have been difficult to get them clean otherwise. So after extracting the 3 rear seats on this vehicle, you can see that the solution that pulled up was pretty disgusting, and there was absolutely no way I would have been able to get a decent finish on this car without using an extractor. So I let the seats fully dry out before taking the after photos, so you could see the true difference between them. Now I want to take a look at something a little bit different and actually clean something which already looks relatively clean, and the reason being is that I really want to highlight just how much dirt is embedded in some fabrics which you would otherwise consider pretty clean. So this is the driver's side mat from my MX-5, which I haven't extracted in 6 months. However, it has had weekly cleans using steam and a microfiber cloth, so I would consider it to be in pretty good condition. However, when I started to extract it, I did notice that there was a lot of grime still being pulled up. I think it goes to show that even if you do look after your own interior, then the fabrics will still benefit from routine extraction. So here I am using that wide path tool as I find it really useful to cover a large area quicker. I use the brush attachment on this wide path tool to agitate the fabric, but then I do like to just unclip it when I'm actually doing the extraction step, as I find it's easier to get a good angle and to draw up as much solution as possible. So here is what the dirty tank of water looked like after cleaning just this single mat, and there was definitely a lot more dirt in here than I was expecting. So I did just want to talk about why you might want to consider an extractor if you don't have one already. Now, the main reason that sold me on extractors in the first place and why I bought my original Vax SpotWash was because I borrowed a carpet cleaner for a friend just to give my mats a once over. And despite having cleaned them regularly using a microfiber towel and interior cleaner, the amount of stuff that was pulled up out of the mats was pretty disgusting, and it just highlighted to me how much dirt the fabric can hold. And even if it looks clean, it probably isn't, and benefits from that routine deeper clean. There are also situations as well where I'm dealing with more challenging vehicles. Obviously I do clean quite a lot of cars, and there are a lot of examples where I simply would not be able to hand the vehicle back to the owner in a respectable condition without having used an extractor. The only real alternative would be to use an interior cleaner or steam and then try and use a microfiber towel to mop up as much as possible, but in a lot of cases that just really isn't going to cut it, and there isn't really a substitute for a proper extraction. And even on the interiors where the seats don't look that bad, there is still a lot of hidden dirt build-up, particularly on vehicles that are a couple of years old or more, and it can actually have quite a dramatic effect on how the fabric feels as well as how it looks. I also just wanted to go through a few tips on how to get the most out of an extractor. First up is pre-treating the surface. Now, this is something that's really helpful if you are dealing with heavily soiled fabrics, as sometimes that cleaner just needs a little bit more time to work. So by spraying it down and leaving it for a couple of minutes, it allows it to really soften and soak the dirt so that when you do go in and agitate it with a brush, you're going to have a lot better chance of extracting more of that grime. The second tip following on from that is to don't be stingy with the cleaning solution that you're using. It's going to make it a lot easier to agitate the solution, and you're going to get a lot better results by doing it. Obviously, you don't need to absolutely saturate the surface. However, if when you do come to extract it, you're not really seeing that much come up, consider adding a bit more solution, agitating, and then repeating that extraction. You've also got to really make sure you take your time when using these extractors. This includes both when you actually draw in that machine backwards to pull up the liquid. The slower you go really, the more you're going to be able to extract. And also if you are still drawing up dirty liquid, then just repeat the step. It's not going to take that long to do, and the overall results are going to be much better. So when I'm doing it, I'm basically looking for the foam to be pretty white. Another tip that I like to use if I am using a lot of cleaning solution is to actually rinse the fabrics through afterwards. And by this I mean instead of putting the cleaning solution in your tank, instead just put clean water, and you can repeat the same process, spray it down, agitate and then extract, and it's going to remove all that chemical from the fabric. And finally, if you are noticing some sort of water spots and occasional patches when you've finished extracting and the surface is dry, this is what's known as wicking, and it's when the dirt and the solution is brought to that surface but hasn't been fully removed. So I would always recommend keep doing the extraction until you're really not pulling up any liquid at all. And also, if it's still becoming a problem, you can lay down a microfiber towel on the surface, give it a little pat and then leave it on there until the surface is fully dry, and that should solve the problem. So I do like to give all my detailing equipment a clean after I've used it, and it's no exception with this, particularly considering how disgusting it can get. So I first start by removing all the attachments, and I do just give those a rinse in warm water and dry them off with a microfiber towel. And then I use the cleaning function for the hose, which just involves plugging it into that little self-hose port at the back, pressing on, and then it will run that clean solution through the hose and into the dirty tank, so at least there's nothing festering in that area. And then remove the dirty tank, pour it out and give it a very good rinse. So there isn't really any onboard storage for all the accessories, as there are quite a lot of them, so I do just keep those in a bag separately. But the machine itself does have storage for the hose where it wraps around it, and for the mains cable as well, which you can wrap around, and there is a clip on there as well, so the plug isn't just dangling about. So I have obviously mentioned that I do own the base model of the Vax SpotWash as well, and this is an upgraded, more expensive version of it. So in terms of the advantages of getting this one, I would say that the main ones are that it comes with a lot more attachments, especially the crevice and the wide path attachments I found really helpful, and I can definitely see myself getting a lot more use out of them. There are also a few specification differences too. For example, this comes with a 6.5 metre mains cable, the other one just comes with a 5 metre, and the hose is slightly longer at 1.7 metres on this compared to 1.5 on the base model. So it does mean that I can just about get away with using this without having to get out an extension cable. with this being the Max variant, which is obviously larger as the name would suggest. It also comes with a larger dirty and clean water tank. So it's a 2.8 litre clean tank and a 2.2 litre dirty tank compared to my original Vax SpotWash. It's over double the size for the dirty tank, which means I really don't have to empty it very often, and I can usually do about 1.5 to 2 interiors, depending on how bad they are, just on a single tank. Another massive advantage that I've not mentioned so far is that this actually does have increased suction power as well. So the stat is that the suction power is 30% higher here, and I can definitely say I've noticed that improvement, and it is taking me less time to do the interior using this tool. The obvious drawback here though is that it is a larger machine, however I still think it fits pretty comfortably in my cabinets. It is also obviously more expensive too. However, if you do enter the code MAX when you purchase this, then you will get a discount of £80 on the machine plus a free solution, so it does definitely bring that price a lot lower. As always, there will be a link in the description to where you can pick this up. If you have found this video useful, it'd be brilliant if you could drop it a like, and thanks very much for watching.